This is Papa Smurf. You're listening to Our Lifestyle, the podcast, with ODB and the Mayor.
Yo, it's Our Lifestyle Podcast, also known as OLP, and this is episode 244. Thanks for continuing to rock with us. Hopefully you enjoyed the last episode. Mike and I spent a good amount of time talking about scraping the coast, and whether you've been there before, maybe it's been a long time, maybe it's on your bucket list, please do everything you can. If you didn't make it this year, come out next year. If you were there this year, hey, keep the pedal stomp. We'll see you back hopefully in 2022, which, as we've been talking about, will mark the 20th anniversary of this famed event that has brought a lot to the Gulf Coast. So, with that being said, Mike and I, again, last week, we talked a lot about scraping. This week, it is 4th of July week, so many of you are on vacation. Maybe you've had an extra couple days off, or you're coming off at least, hopefully, depending on your work, a 3-day weekend last weekend. So many of us had Monday off. Now, because of the holiday week, this will kind of be a little bit shorter of an episode. And rest assured, I know you guys been like lately probably thinking, hey, you know, where are some of the key guests? Well, listen, we've been really trying to secure and lock down a few. Hopefully the rest of July and August, we're going to have some really awesome guests on. Some people that we've been talking to for a while. And hopefully we'll be able to get that audio squared away. With that being said, let's jump right in to this episode. Now, on this episode, I am going to have some audio from Justin Wyatt. So the same weekend as Scraping the Coast, there's a one-day show that goes down that we've been to before in Piney Flats. If you've been listening for a while, you've heard Justin on before, Negative Camber, member, hardcore mini trucker. And the cool thing is we talk about East Tennessee Showdown just a little bit, but we actually get off into some really good conversation just about the scene in general, old school stuff. So I think you'll really enjoy that. Now, in addition, I'm also going to have Riggedy Ron Perkins on to give a few updates. Ron touches on a lot of stuff, including the new drops that they recently launched for Hammered Weekend Wear. Getting a lot of buzz out of both of these. There's a Hummer, and then there is Jason Barbaglia, a.k.a. DJ Maze's Square Body S10, also known as, I think last episode I said Too Short, but of course we know it's Teal Short. Love that mini Phantom Grill and so many awesome little touches to Jason's truck. Now, Ron will talk a little bit about the Hammered brand. He'll talk also about the upcoming show in less than 4 weeks. God, by the time you hear this, it's really going to be just a couple weeks away up in Medford, Oregon. Hopefully you've had an opportunity to go out and look at some flights or maybe decide if you're going to be able to drive up there. And then he'll also talk a little bit about the U.S. tour and taking the big rig around the country with Hank gallivanting. And he'll talk a little bit about that and then kind of what to expect for the rest of the year. Now, I also want to say that we are going to work on and do the best we can, hopefully with the next episode, to talk about Courtney Halliwell. Now, based upon when this episode is dropping, we want to send our condolences, as we always do, to the Halliwell family. Now, this episode, if you're a day one listener, you're basically going to pick up and listen on the February the 9th, okay, going into Southern Tradition weekend. So there's a lot of folks that are going to be either headed over to Southern Tradition or already in Canton, Georgia. I know Mike and Shannon will be over there. And Mike, we talked a little bit about that last week. But it's with heavy hearts that we are reminded that, in the coming weeks, will mark the 10th anniversary of Courtney's passing. Now, Courtney Halliwell, a.k.a. Tito, as many of you know, especially his Negative Camber brothers and brothers in many clubs, even Severed, know that Courtney was born on August 24th, 1968, and he unfortunately passed on July 21st, 2011. So he's obviously a legend. We've talked a lot about him with folks that were very close to him, that knew him, right-hand guys and just people that were heavily influenced by, Tito, right? So I talked to Mike. I talked to Josh Ellis. That's been helping us as well. We got a couple of guys that we think will be able to line up and talk a little bit about Courtney's legacy. In addition to that, Mrs. Hollowell, of course, we had her on very early. She was very gracious to give some time, and we thought that we did a really cool interview with her. We'll hopefully get a chance to maybe either touch base with her, see if she's willing to, and if not, we also have some other guests that'll kind of tie into that. But again, July, I kind of look at it as, there's a lot to celebrate with Courtney's awesome career, his life, the club that he helped start, and to all of, the NC members out there, much respect. And as you guys know, we always pay homage to the great ones, including Courtney Hollowell. So more to come on that in the coming episodes. Now, the overview is brought to you by Graphics Mafia. You've heard us talk about Graphics Mafia before. It's GRAPHIX Mafia.com. They're also on TikTok, Facebook, and, of course, Instagram. You can go out here and on their website order vinyl stickers. If you need something custom made, they can do that. They've also even taken an old Colorado custom sticker that had no chance of being peeled off, and they were able to recreate it in the colors that I wanted. Josh Ellis also was able to have that done, and there's other guys in the scene like Dizzy from the Spark Show. They've also relied upon Graphics Mafia, including Miggity Mike the Mayor. Man, he's over there working these guys to death. So, Buddy, Ryan, thanks for what you guys do. Keep posting on Instagram. We love to see what you guys are working on. It reinforces that, hey, you're not just sticker guys. You do a lot more. So, big ups to Graphics Mafia. Now, the scene updates, just a couple of quick ones, again, because we're about a week ahead in terms of this audio. Wanted to say that I did see, I was kind of surprised, Sal from Acro. It looks like, unless it's an April Fool's, which I don't think it is, it looks like Schulman picked up the Mazda. Now, that Mazda came from Big John Turner, Big Juice. Of course, it then changed hands over to Greg Miller. We're still praying for our homie, our brother, and we're hoping that Greg's going to continue to improve and get better. Greg had a lot done to that truck. He really had big plans, and when the opportunity presented itself, Sal apparently was interested in purchasing it, and Greg had his mind set on other projects, so he was willing to let it go. I think the last time I remember seeing it when Greg owned it was at Sparks in the Park 2020, so that got delayed that year. And if I remember correctly, Greg had it there. So that's going from recollection. But of course, Sal took the truck, and I think he ended up doing the tilt bed on it, which was in the cards with Greg, but he just didn't get a chance, if I remember correctly. And it looks like Sal had fun with it. We saw it in Orange Beach Invasion, one of our favorite shows in the month of March down in Orange Beach, Alabama. And, of course, it looked good. We took video of it, and always love seeing that. Mazdas, whether it's a B2000 or 2200, I mean, those trucks are arguably the most popular mini trucks ever, right? And there's so many awesome ones out there. So it'll be interesting to see what Dave Schulman ends up doing with it. Of course, he's got a lot of projects, but, he is always coming through with some cool stuff. So, again, it'll be interesting. And when he posted on his Instagram, he kind of made it sound like, hey, this is really maybe kind of the first mini truck. I think he had that Explorer back in the day, if I remember correctly. But, Schulman's in a mini, and, of course, can't wait to see what he ends up doing with it. Now, from a digital perspective, it's kind of how we've been segmenting this section. Obviously, I want to just give a huge shout-out to all of the awesome folks in our scene that are continuing to create content, and that goes out to like Grinder TV, Brian, Jeff at Mini Garage, and Frank and family at Custom Life. That's custom with a K. The reason why I stress is you can go out on YouTube, and this is free content. Just like OLP is a free weekly podcast, these guys are out there hustling, and they're going to shows nationwide, crisscrossing the country, and love to see what they're always doing. Now, Built to Cruise as well, Jeremy, He's one of my favorite channels out there, and obviously I'm sure he's been kind of busy, but if you go out, Built to Cruise, just how it sounds, you will get a chance to see some of his recent videos. Now, it's been a little bit, so hopefully we'll touch base with Jeremy and find out what he's been up to. But one of the last ones he did was 30,000 Hot Wheels, Corey Scott's Texas-sized Hot Wheels collection. And he talks a little bit about the K5 and things like that. We, of course, saw at Lone Star Throwdown. I think it's kind of a tradition for us to see it there. I think last time I remember seeing it was the K5 I'm talking about from Built to Cruise latest video. I think the last time I saw it was LST 2020. That's going off memory. So, but a lot of cool stuff out there. It's free. And, there's other channels that are on the rise, like Mini Truck Matt, and so many others, right? There's a lot of other content like the Future Mini Trucker podcast. Those kids are on the rise. And, I continue to love seeing it. I love that, we're a part of this scene, but there's so many other outlets and channels and things, and some might be up your alley, and just like Instagram pages, and then others you might go, these guys, it's not something for me. So, but rest assured, there's something out there for everyone. And, I try to listen to podcasts when I can. And one of my favorite, as an example, is the Back to the Future podcast. We had Brad Gilmore on, which was kind of an honor. He went on to write a book related to Back to the Future. And, again, what I'm getting at here is, dude, there's something out there for everyone. So get out there and check it out. It's got to be Tony calling me, man. Every freaking time I'm freaking recording, man. Yo, what up, man? Hey, man, I'm recording, dude. What's up, man?
Hey, Jay, what's up? It's Ron Perkins from Hammer Weekend, where I was just calling to
shit, my
see
bad,
if you
man.
wanted to.
I didn't mean. Hey, I don't know if you heard me there, man. Everything's cool, man.
What are you up to? I was just calling to see if you wanted to go over Relaxin the Northwest the Awakening.
Well, you know what? It's not a bad idea. Actually, I could maybe use the help out here. So actually, this coming week, I'm going to be on vacation, so I'm trying to, put the pedal down. You know how we do, man. So you want to provide some updates? Relaxin. You talking about Relaxin in the Northwest, the Awakening?
Yeah, we're going to be doing Relaxin the Northwest the Awakening in Medford, Oregon, and it's going to start out on July. I know we had some complications before to where the artwork said it was on a Wednesday, but actually early entry is the 29th. The official show starts July 30th to August 1st at the Medford Drag Strip.
Now, drag strip, you're talking about like a real deal drag strip, right? Different location than last time in 2019?
It is a different location as the normal fairgrounds is still a COVID hospital until August 1st. We moved to the Medford Drag Strip, where we're actually going to be able to facilitate Friday night drag races. So whether you bring a 1988 Mazda that you want to run down the track, or you bring a full-blown alcohol race car, we're going to be running them down the strip on Friday and have a show and shine on Saturday.
Now, look, real quick, I want to make sure Hank's not in the vicinity, right? Because I think you would have had him at the word alcohol.
Yeah, no, Hank's out gallivanting with some family out in Atlanta right now. So we gave him a week off, and we're just continuing to pump out some Hammer stuff over here.
Be careful, because Mike, the mayor, was trying to cut deals with Hank on the backside at Scraping the Coast. We were just out there talking about trying to fly him in for an appearance at Mike's show, Eastbound Get Down. So, Mike told me not to mention that. I'll probably have to edit that part out, but Mike was saying Eastbound Get Down show. He keeps trying to put a gun to my head saying if I don't talk about that it's January 21st to the 23rd next year in 2022, that he's going to get all ticked off. So, make sure that you don't bring that up if you talk to Mike.
Yeah, no kidding. That's the first I've heard about it. I mean, right now, Hank is scheduled to work the Hammered Weekend Wear booth, but, I always tell the kid, go where the money is.
Real deal. So, in all seriousness, Relaxin in the Northwest, the Awakening, when I go to the Instagram, which is Relaxin in the NW, of course, it points me over to facebook.com/Relaxin in the NW. And when I go out there, of course, I see a lot of a great detail in terms of reinforcing, as you mentioned, Ron, it's at the Medford Drag Strip. Now, listen, the last rumor I heard was camping, cruising, special events and all kinds of different stuff. What's the deal if somebody flies in, like what I'm planning to do? Do you get a room? Do you pitch a tent? What's the deal?
Yeah, there is the option. You can either get a hotel. We have a host hotel set up that I can get the info here shortly. There is camping on site if you're flying in and one of the club members want to hook you up. I've heard from guys from just recently as far as South Carolina, they're talking about driving out. People from Vegas, Arizona, California, Washington, Oregon, Idaho. Pretty much the whole Northwest has always been super big on supporting the show. So it's going to be a hell of a weekend. There's no noise ordinance, being at a drag strip like there was at the fairgrounds. So it's going to go until it stops. So it's going to be a good time.
Excellent. And it's Medford, Oregon. Now on the show artwork that just came out so awesome, that reinforces the dates, right? July 30th, as you had mentioned, through August 1st. And when they fly in, if they decide to fly in, you had reinforced to me that the airport is a little bit closer than what the deal was back in 2019. So talk to us a little bit about what airport people should be looking at.
Originally you would fly into the Portland airport, drive down to Salem, which was roughly probably, I would say, about an hour and a half drive. Medford is Southern Oregon, so although you still can fly into PDX, the Medford has an airport right there that will be a lot closer, a lot easier to get in and out of, and just put you basically 8 miles from the show itself. So if you fly directly into Medford, MFR is the airport code. So if you're going from Tampa, I think it's what is it?
TPA
to
I think
F
TIA TPA TIA one
MFR.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say that the word was that Hank was really excited about this because he was calling everyone an MFer. And he was like ticking some of the club mates off up there, and then they didn't realize. No, he was trying to say he was mumbling, right, because he was boozing. He was trying to say no, fly into MFer, and I was like, dude, I mean, he's gonna get in the fight, man.
Yeah. That was his hook behind the whole thing. You just have to remember, fly in and out of MFer, and you'll be a good MFer.
Dude, this is good stuff. Now, again, we mentioned Facebook, and when you go to Relaxin in the NW, you can click like. And when you've liked the page, obviously you'll get notifications and you'll see it in your feed. There's also the website that's listed there, theawakeningshow.com. And when you land over there, you see like you've got people like Monster Energy that's behind it. And folks can register per person right there online. Is that right? Whether they're going to fly in or they're going to maybe register a vehicle?
Yeah. And this is something that we switched over to a couple years ago to make it cheaper for everybody. There used to be a standard entry fee, which would get you your vehicle and a passenger into the show. But a lot of people were coming with their show vehicles by themselves. And so we just wanted to make it a little more affordable for you to go. So the basic lowdown on it is that for the whole weekend, it runs $30 per person, and then it runs $10 per vehicle that you bring in. So, for example, if you tow your show vehicle in, you'll pay $10 for your tow rig. You pay $10 for your show rig, and then the trailer itself would be free. The only trailers that are charged for is if you're bringing a camp trailer in, then you would pay an additional $10 for the camp trailer. So that's a way we can keep it down. If you want to load 30 people in a bus, we're going to charge you $10 to come in with the bus, and then $30 per person. So however you have to do it, that's the easiest way to explain it. So the only thing that comes through the gate that doesn't get charged is either an enclosed trailer or a flatbed trailer that's hauling a vehicle. But if you bring a golf cart in, if you bring a motorcycle in, ATV, like a Razor or anything like that, those all need to be registered and will be charged $10 a vehicle.
That's the way that you in the club can make it the most affordable, right? Because some folks want to reinforce that, hey, these locations to rent out and stuff is not free. There's a big, charge, if you will, to like really put on a show, right? There's a big investment, if you will. So there's got to be some sort of a method to be able to get people in at an affordable rate, and I think it's the best way. Now, I know that Hank likes to ride those big, he's got like one of those big trike bikes, right? Like the old school bikers with the ape hangers. Just to be clear, that's another $10 deal for him to get in, and then he's got the $30 on top of that.
Yeah, any motorized vehicle, so to speak, will be $10 to register. If you have like a lowrider bike or anything like that, if it's technically, it wouldn't be charged if you were just bringing it and riding it around the show, any bicycles or anything like that. But if you were registering your lowrider bike for the special interest of the show, it would be $10.
Yep, got it. Yeah, fair enough. Definitely fair enough.
Yeah, and especially to your point, to rent out the whole drag strip to where we don't have to share it with somebody, or we don't have to, have our own space, and then they're doing drag races on the other side. The cost is pretty phenomenal, and and then you back that with a DJ and a stage and awards and everything that goes with it. We basically just want to cover our end. We're not out to set the world on fire and make a ton of money. We just want to pay the bills, have a good weekend. So that's why we try to kick it back and make it affordable. So like if you fly in, Jay, and you have a rental car and you're like, hey, I'm going to have the rental car at the place. Unfortunately, it would be $30 for you, and it'd be $10. You have the whole weekend of nonstop fun for $40. I mean, that's about as cheap as we can get it, and we think it's as affordable as we can get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, when I came in back in July, on July 25th of 2019, we were at a different location, and the vibe was so awesome. There's a lot of clubs. You had this atmosphere of kind of like a river run in terms of the camping. I heard a lot of chatter over the weekend, people saying, hey, this is the old school run that we're used to, or that we want, and some people said, hey, this is the last of the Mohicans out there, right? And arguably, right, there's a few other events that might kind of compete in that space, but I think the vibe that I'm getting at really was just it was like old school. Again, a lot of clubs. You guys are trying to keep that same vibe going, my understanding.
Yeah, that's probably what's the number one concern to us is when we got shut down at the fairgrounds, the panic was to find somewhere where we can keep that old school run, where we could camp, where we could keep everybody at the same place if we wanted to. We did offer a host hotel this year that's reasonably close, just because there is a lot of interest about flying in from out of state. So you have the option. I mean, if you want to camp, great. If you don't, you can stay at the host hotel. We got a group rate there to where it's, I think we got it down to $125 if you book before the 15th of July. And then after that, if there's any rooms available, then it'll go up to $169. So you want to make sure and book the host hotel and mention that you're there for the Relaxed Atmosphere show at the Medford drag strip, and then they'll give you that $125 discount.
And don't use the SHIT word in front of the show, right? You just go for the show, not the other show, not the
Exactly
right, because we want to leave a good taste in everyone's mouth, right? In Medford, because we don't want to be kicked out of there.
Yeah, no, Medford has had some shows at the same location, and the city itself has been beyond great to welcome us to their city and relive kind of the older shows that they've had there in the past. So the whole city's pumped. Us as Relaxed Atmosphere, we're excited, and we, like I said, we got guys coming from all over the country to help us out, just to experience the show in general. So I've been to quite a few Relaxed Atmosphere shows across the country, and this one is no slouch. It holds its own with the other shows across the country.
One of the amazing aspects that I would remind all the listeners, I had not been to a Pacific Northwest event. Of course, I went up there July of 2019, and it was my show of the year, excluding some of our key partners, which we always do with their events. But when I think about what the event brought to us is, we got a chance to meet people like from Sittin' Pretty, a lot of our fam in Forbidden Fantasy, No Regrets, so many different clubs up that way. And not just clubs, but chapters, right? Craig Braid, we became great friends with him, his homie, and Sittin' Pretty with the Nissan and all the bikes. Like, there's just so many good folks. I know Christina Ceremi, she came up rolling in the LAC. That was cool. Brian and Frank, again, from Forbidden. And then, of course, RA, dude, treating everyone like family, always there to kind of looking out and whatnot. So, that's my takeaway to people that I know, like the homie Matt Middleton from Small Town Throwdown, right? He's been gallivanting around, right, with his awesome wife. And, you got guys like this that are kind of itching to go, hey, you know what? I'm going to fly coast to coast. I'm going to go up to the Pacific Northwest. And listen, we're talking basically a little bit, give or take, a little less than a month away when this airs. You got an opportunity here to get on your favorite travel app and start just looking. Just get a ballpark. Can you do it? Can you maybe get the Friday? Can you swing it? Can you get up there? And then, of course, if you're in Cali and things like that, come on up. I mean, dude, Ron, remember Nick at Night with the tandem axle Nissan rocking the Colorado custom wheels? Dude, that mofo, talk about MFer. That mofo came all the way up from San Diego and drove that damn thing.
Right. Yeah, that's a good 1,100 miles probably.
Dude, that's hardcore, man. From Diego to the Bay, kinda. You know what I mean? If your city's the bomb, then your city's making bank, I think is what Pac said.
Yep.
So, man, listen, before I do want to, since I got you, bro, let's be honest, since you interrupted me, man, and I got you on the horn, before we move in, because I do want to ask you a few other things. What else did we maybe miss, or some key things you want to reinforce with Relaxin in the NW, also known as The Awakening?
Yeah, basically, you do have the opportunity to come in early entry, get everything set up, kind of have a chill night on Thursday before it gets crazy on Friday. The pre-registration, you have to be pre-registered on the website at theawakeningshow.com. It's $25 to stay that extra night to get there Thursday. If you show up on Thursday and you're not pre-regged, you will not be allowed to get into the show because we have to set a list aside for the guys at the drag strip to let everybody in. So that's the biggest key that I could try to reiterate is that you must go to the website. You still have roughly right now about 2 weeks to go there, and then add the Thursday night entry, which, like I said, is $25. So it'll be $25 on top of the $10 on the 30 to stay that extra night. Otherwise, the gates will open Friday at 8 a.m. for everybody, whether you pre-register or not. You can pay at the gate, and that is the biggest thing. There's going to be on-site concessions where the drag strip provides, basically race food. So they'll have hamburgers, hot dogs. They have margaritas and beer and stuff like that. Anything that you can buy at the drag strip, they'll have there. We'll have event shirts in the same building, so you can buy your event shirt right where you buy your food. You can bring food. You can bring alcohol. We ask that you bring no glass bottles. We ask that you bring no weapons, whether it be knives or firearms. That's the biggest thing. The biggest thing that's changed this year is that kids of all ages are welcome. But just like anything else, they're your responsibility if you bring them. So whether they're your kids or not, make sure you have a leash on them. But they are welcome all weekend long. The show will be open to spectators from 8 a.m. Saturday to 5 p.m. on Saturday. And if you're a local or if you come from out of town, you just want to enjoy the show as a spectator, it's $5 to get in. But you do have to leave Saturday at 5 o'clock because it gets pretty wild after that.
Yeah, because that's when... I mean, I'm not for, like, Cajun animals, but, like, Hank literally is kind of then, like, let out, right? And then, like, he'll do the autograph sessions. He's looking for, a drink for an autograph, right? It's like a one shot, I think is the deal. You can't beat that, right, Ron?
Kind of. I mean, speaking of scraping the coast, there was rumors that he had signed 3 boobs down there.
But they were all legal, right? They were all of age, clearly.
I don't know. I didn't see any of it.
This guy's an animal, man. You got to watch him, because you don't want any kind of indictments going in on your one. He's a good employee. He's got his days.
Yeah, and my biggest question for him, which he wouldn't tell me nothing. I was asking, I was like, was it one like Total Recall chick, or was it 3 different women? But he wouldn't tell me nothing.
I like that, man. That's some crazy stuff, man. Yeah, he's crazy. Well, since Miggity Mike the Mayor's out gallivanting, as I kind of had said at the beginning, really, keeping this thing going, and it is 4th of July week. That had reminded me, right? So I had a few minutes, and I jumped into the rig over at Scraping the Coast. We had a damn good time, and one of the shirts that always brings a smile to my face, a lot of guys were coming up and buying it. Actually, when I was there, I think you sold 4 of them, was the One Nation Under the Influence, right? The red, white, and blue.
Right.
And that shirt, as many of your items obviously are available on HAMMERD, weekendwear.com, or the link in your Instagram bio. Talk to us a little bit about the new stuff that you recently ended the pre-sale on, but they can also buy that stuff, and talk to us a little bit about the insight that you dropped on DJ Maze's Twitch just last week.
Yeah. On Tuesday we got with DJ Maze and put our 2 pre-sales up on there. We officially released them to the public on Wednesday, but Tuesday night we gave him the exclusive to where we had featured his S10 known as Teal Short. We featured it on a real St. Louis kind of feel of a shirt with the arch. The square beyond compare is what we called that one, which is a little throwback nod to a St. Louis pizza company, and just kind of gave it that feel, that hometown feel for Jason since he's out there in the STL. So I think that one came together real sharp. We also featured Jimmy Broyles' H2 Hummer, which we've been in the talks with that for a couple of years. So that one also went out, and they're both doing really well on pre-sale. You can get those after the pre-sale ends in small through 5X on the website, or if you see us at one of the 30 shows on the tour, you can always stop by the trailer. I don't know exactly what number they are yet, but you can just come up and be like, hey, give me number 22 and number 27, and we'll hook you up.
Great stuff, man. I really dig it. You're a hustler, dude. And I even think someone like Larry Flint, knowing like you're out there hustling so much that like he would give you, a tip of the cap. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, boss from Larry Flint.
You know what I'm saying? So HUSTLER hustler, just like Ice-T said, New Jack hustler. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you got to get. I remember when Biggie said it's kind of like what Crack did to Pookie and New Jack, and I was like, oh yeah, Chris Rock, that was Pookie. I was like, that's how they rap. You know what I mean? So I was trying to get my flow down, but I just never had that flow though. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it's a tough one.
But you're kind of doing, your version of Crack, right? I mean this in a positive way, is like your shirts, right? That's what you're slinging. You're out there 30 plus shows a year slinging that good. You know what I mean? And I would never condone drug use. I would just like compare, this is that stuff you really want. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's really been super awesome. I think I'm probably 10 or 12, 13-ish maybe shows into this tour, and just the response from people coming up to the booth, and people come out and they'll talk for a bit, and we'll get to chatting, and sometimes people just come up and they're like, hey, give me a number 5 and large, and then they're gone. But everything has just been super awesome, and I've said it before that my absolute favorite part of being able to run a t-shirt company for myself is the response from the owner or the builder when I first give them that look of what Graphic Disorder did with our idea is just my favorite part. My second favorite part is probably just seeing shirts out in the wild, but being at shows and getting to conversate with people and meet new friends, that's definitely moving up the list and probably in second place as well. So it's been a really cool experience, and like I said, we just got off of Scraping the Coast, which is a lot of fun. We're going to head to Southern Tradition next, and then Camp and Drag. So we got 2 shows before the Awakening. We'll hit the Awakening, and then we'll do everything we can to get Jimmy's Hummer in our booth over at Slamboree out there in Oklahoma. So we'll see how that goes.
Man, I love hearing just all of the awesomeness that you've got going on. And speaking of the tour, you kind of gave us a little bit of insight, but, since we last synced up, I know the DeCorvers, we got a chance to hang out a lot over at Sparks in the Park. That was back around Easter. And, we've synced up just a couple times with you, man. But What's, other than what you kind of just shared, maybe what's a memory or two so far that you've made, maybe someone that you got a chance to link up with that you haven't seen in a minute, anything that you've learned, maybe just some little bit of additional insight of your crisscross in the country?
Well, I mean, most recently, the coolest thing is I got to hook up with my buddy Kool-Aid, which we just featured his Escalade on the Total Domination shirt. He actually came out from California to scraping the coast. I haven't seen Kool-Aid since the Drop Zone days, so it's been a good probably close to 15 years. We talked back and forth about putting his Escalade on a shirt, but to see him in person was really cool. He was over there in the extensive booth. I got to see Max and Tim when they were setting up, and we kind of chatted for a bit. So that was really cool. It's so awesome, the different variety of what you get from different shows across the country. I mean, and this is something that I never realized until I went on the tour. I can do a show in St. Louis, and then I could drop down to Biloxi, Mississippi, and have a totally different outcome as far as people and just different experiences. I've been trying to do some stuff on my off time to where I can keep my mind straight, to where I can just whether it be going to a water park or going jet skiing, or actually me and Barbaya and the homie Chad, Luke, and Dom, and Joey from Arizona and his son, we all went out and rode go-karts or like these racing cars when we were out there. And just the little things like that are really fun. The only thing that really stays the same is being inside the trailer and getting to see everybody. But even that's not the same show to show. So it's pretty exciting. You never know really what to expect. I've never been to Southern Tradition. So that I'm pretty excited about that. That's going to be in Canton, Georgia, I believe on the 9th and 10th. I could be off on the dates in July, but that one's coming up. I've never been there. I know you guys went last year, so I'm super pumped about that. And then I get to revisit Camp and Drag. I've been to Camp and Drag, I want to say about 8 years in a row now. So that's always one of my favorites. So just the mix of being able to see new shows and then revisit shows that I have been to before, it keeps me on my toes and keeps me excited. So there's so much that I could go on forever, but just seeing people and people that I haven't seen for a while, maybe some people that have got out of the scene and then got back in, or just people that have been around for the past 20 years that we've never like linked up because they're on one side of the country or the other.
No doubt. And, I'm glad you brought that up, because I had mentioned just a little bit earlier before you had called that I know Mike is going to gallivant on over. Now, many of you are going to be listening to this on July 9th. So, again, happy Independence Week. Of course, Independence Day was on the 5th earlier this week. And, Ron, to your point, Walker Frank and just the crew, so many good people in that region of the country. And the 10th, which is the Saturday tomorrow, and then the 11th, that's going to be Southern Tradition. Now, we were there last year, and really, I had no intentions of not going. That's a double negative, I think. I didn't have an intention of skipping it, right? So what had happened was I wasn't going to be able to go on vacation just kind of with limited time that I have with the fam. So I'm actually going to be going up to Cedar Point and doing some family stuff. So I'm going to be coming home that day. But, to your point, that's the good thing, man. Like, I'm realizing, too, where I'm kind of getting is, you can't make it to every event. And even me, like, I kind of feel bad telling a show promoter because I want to be there. I love taking the photos and I love doing all that. But you've had this really cool experience. You've taken this plunge this year, and, you put your money where your mouth is, and you said, hey, I'm going to get out there. I'm going to support the scene. And then obviously, hoping the scene will reciprocate, right? Buying shirts and that type of thing. But I mean, it seems like it's been a damn good run for you, and I love seeing all of your success and all of the new stuff you launch, man. Yeah,
and that's the thing, is just trying to keep up with those designs, and it's been a little bit of I wouldn't say it's been a tougher thing than I thought it was going to be. Just trying to facilitate everything to where I'm on the road and I need to get these shirts here and I have to ship these shirts out. So that's posed a little bit of a problem. Normally with me being home, more consistently than I have been this year. It's easier to tell Brant to just ship the stuff to my house in Oregon. I'll get all the pre-orders, boxed up and shipped out. So now I'm trying to figure out the logistics of everything. Really hasn't I really haven't fell off schedule yet. And I'm not saying that I'm going to, but I'm not going to say that I'm not going to. But we've kept around the same timeline that we've always been. Pre-orders, 4 to 6 weeks later, we'll get them out, and do 2 shirts every 2 months, giving us 12 a year. That's just what we're going to continue to focus on. And then I just made a post about it today. We've released 8 shirts now so far this year, so we got 4 more. And December 1st, we'll open up the subscription, so you can buy a subscription, one-time fee. You get a little bit of a discount off the retail price. You get both T-shirts, both stickers automatically shipped to your house, with nothing to worry about. So that usually happens one time a year. We do it December 1st through December 31st, and then it just ensures that you get all the shirts. And I posted a picture of all 8 of them this morning, and I mean they're awesome shirts. So it's nothing you have to worry about to where you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to go that route, because I don't know if I'm going to like all 12. I'm guaranteeing that you're going to like all 12. So yeah, we'll open that back up December 1st, and just keep going around to 2022 kicks off.
Yeah, it's going to be insane. And like I said, I love seeing, arguably you push the limits with the schedule that you've been able to keep. Obviously the designs, and you kind of continue to push the team that we love over at Graphic Disorder. You push the boundaries with just these killer colors and designs. Now, I know we're getting a little bit of ahead here, but briefly before I let you go, if you think about, we're halfway through the first part of the year, and we recently kind of did a little bit of, hey, this is what we're going to be looking at for the rest of the year, right? Including, as you mentioned, Southern Tradition, which is this weekend. But what's the insight? Is the mindset later this year, like December into January, are you still going to do the T-shirt subscription? Because I think that's one of the best things, and that's really the future. But that's one of the best things, and I think you're one of the only brands that can do that due to your regimented schedule.
Yeah, and that's what I said. On December 1st, we'll launch the 2022
right
to 2022 T-shirt subscription, which makes a fantastic Christmas gift. So the wife can always buy that and take the print off the receipt, fold it up in an envelope, put it under the Christmas tree. Like, that's the gift that just keeps on giving. And anybody in the scene, whether it be kid, female, fellow enthusiast, they're going to love that for Christmas gifts. So we try to plan it at that time of year, because there's talls, there's colors, we did a hoodie subscription last year, we did a banner subscription last year, because there's quite a few people that go to hammeredweekendwear.com, and every single pre-order they order a banner. So we offered a banner that you can have shipped to you automatically. So yeah, that's and as far as I know, you are correct. We're really the only ones that are offering that, and I think it's great, because then you don't have to worry about it. I myself order other brands of T-shirts, and sometimes there gets to be so many, I have to go back through my emails and check to see if I made sure and pre-ordered that company's T-shirt or show's T-shirt that I wanted to get a hold of, because honestly, that's the whole reason that I started a T-shirt company, is because I'm a T-shirt fiend, and whether it's Hammered Weekend Wear or it's any other brand out there, if I see a good shirt, I'm gonna grab it.
Love it, man. Yeah, you do a damn good job. So, I mean, it's been kind of cool, man. I wasn't expecting the call. I thought it was Tony Boss Bolin calling. I mean, dude, he's always calling me, man, interrupting. But so I didn't get a chance to look at my phone. But I'm glad that you did call, because we got a chance to talk about Relaxin in the Northwest, the Awakening. That's July into August, right? This awesome event up in Medford. Of course, wanted to since I had you on the phone, I wanted to touch base a little bit on the new pre-orders, which I think were sick. Now, although they did end, as you mentioned, you can still get out there and buy some of those kind of more general sizes if you didn't already get in. HAMMERD, weekendwear.com. But of course, I did want to also pick your brain on how the road trip was going. So, we wish you much success. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get back to this episode, Ron, and finish it up. And again, hopefully everyone's having a great holiday weekend or holiday week.
Yeah, and I hope you enjoy your vacation that's coming up as well, buddy.
Yeah, I certainly appreciate that. If you do see Hank and he's coherent, just give him a fist bump from ODB and let him know we're going to get crazy soon, but nothing too crazy. You know what I mean?
Right. Keep it all legal.
And as we end here, I did want to give a huge shout out to Jizaf over at Mini Garage. You can go on YouTube and type in Mini Garage, of course, just how it sounds. Please consider subscribing. He does some very cool videos, and I know that's the big homie. Ain't that right, Ron?
Yeah, I was actually in Georgia the other day. I passed the Kia plant, and I messaged Jiz off, and I was like, "Hey, you want me to pick up a couple motors for your motor swap extravaganza? And if you don't know what that's about, you need to check out Mini Garage YouTube and figure out what the Kia motor swap deal's about."
Yeah, the Kia heart removal. I saw that. I was like, "Oh, damn, he's getting a pacemaker." And he said, "No, not yet." So, but hey, it's always real. Big ups to RA Worldwide. Still celebrating that 30th. Keep doing what you guys do, man, and we'll see you hopefully in Oregon very soon.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Safe travels, my brother. We're back to the show, already in progress. Now, on the print side, wanted to reinforce, of course, All Time Low magazine. That issue, the long-awaited issue, they had some hiccups there, as I had mentioned recently, but these guys and these ladies put in a lot of work. Michelle Boone does fantastic. I see her out at so many events. They put their blood, sweat, and tears into that magazine. And if you can, go out to atlmagazine.com. You can subscribe. You can purchase individual issues. And those individual issues do tend to sell out. So we always suggest, if you can, please subscribe. But you can go to atlmagazine.com, select magazines, and you'll see that they have a 6-month subscription. Issue 28 is on sale. And I know that you might look at the price and go, man, it's a little elevated. It's a homegrown magazine, so they don't really have an opportunity to, have, big printing presses and things like that to be able to, print the magazines, cheaper. They also, they obviously focus on quality. So the quality of the magazine, very thick pages, awesome binding, and very little advertising. So all of that plays a role into a good quality magazine. atlmagazine.com. It's $20 for issue 28. And it, of course, features Sketchy's fam on the cover, awesome trucks on the back cover, and so much more. atlmagazine.com. Now, additionally, I've kind of hinted at, Mike and I, we usually have so much to cover, so it's kind of refreshing to slow down a little bit. The July 2021, which is on newsstands now, a very cool cover. You have a question at the top, best F100 ever built. Dude, this truck is insane. The El Diablo. We saw that at Lone Star Throwdown, which it won Best of Show. But also, you've got a C10 on here, Art on Air. It was all a dream. Of course, I have to say that was a little bit of a nod to Biggie. Used to read Street Trucks magazine, and of course, we still do. Many of us do. The cool thing about this truck is I had posted when I got my issues, this truck it's been out a little bit, and I'm always okay with a truck that's been out a little bit because I'm all about the quality. I want to see a good quality truck on the cover and obviously good quality trucks featured. Now, we saw this truck, if I remember correctly, it was SEMA 2016, and I posted that, and it's very unique how the bed is set up. A lot of detail in this one. But on the cover, you also see Mexico truck invasion, altered metal, and then show off Stage 1 Sacramento success. Now, I kind of covered a few things in here, I think, before. I'll just cover a few more, and then I'll move on and talk a little bit about the new issue that's going to be coming. So on page 22 is CFIN, making something totally unique and completely custom. And when you look at this truck, the interior is obviously something that you would see out of, a hot rod of, $100,000, $200,000 status. I mean, the interior is really just insane. One of my favorite features of the truck is just the lip on the bed at the kind of the top of it and how they did that. But really, the interior ties into the bed treatment. you really just have something that I think of in this 72 Chevy C10 that's called C-Fin. You just have basically a high-end hot rod. I love the color of the paint. Obviously, big billet wheels, insane interior, as I mentioned. That lip in the back dough on those huge rollers, to me, it doesn't get much better than that. But you got an awesome feature, a crazy power plant, and AccuAir in there, and so much more. But that's on page 22. There are a couple of minis in here on page 76 and 96. Of course, we've got the R Lifestyle section as well. And something I'm proud of on page 116 is some homies that we helped out. And, they did the work in this one, but, we were proud to have Brian give this truck to Colin at our booth for Mini Nats 2020. Okay, so we talked about that a lot. We went live on Facebook via Street Trucks. And what we were able to kind of do is say, hey, this is a kid, Colin, that's doing his thing. He loves his photography. And what that resulted in with High School Hauler, Beltec was willing to jump on board. You also had Josh Rowan of Rowan Concepts, as we talked about in the past. He did the rendering High School Hauler, HAU apostrophe R, so Hauler, that little spin on it. But in this issue, you have Chris Hamilton that writes the write-up, if you will, and then you have Colin and Brian. They do the damn thing with the tech article. So congratulations. I love seeing this stuff because, to me, it's important to get more kids involved. And we do want to link up with Colin here in the near future, maybe sometime in July, and talk with him a little bit about the progress. And then lastly, I want to mention Altered Metal was mentioned on the cover, but in addition to that show coverage, or actually I'll mention two more things. So on page 90, you're going to have this killer. It's technically an F100, and it's called the Long Bed Queen Stanley 2 is the feature name, and it talks a little bit about Kimberly and her 1980 F100. So it's kind of just a really awesome feature Angel Dooley did. Great rolling shots, with the lighting and things like that, and I really dig it. And then lastly, on page 68 is El Diablo, Uncle Dave's fishing truck turned full custom. And I think this was one that was probably cross-shared with their sister pub for F100 Builder's Guide. But basically, you have Brian from Grinder TV shot this truck, El Diablo. And, man, this truck is amazing. Glad we got to see it kind of in the covered area at Lone Star Throwdown. And we would remind you, Lone Star Throwdown 2022 will be the 11th anniversary. We'll be out there in Conroe. That's next February. And we like to spin that one as really the biggest, baddest truck show maybe in the world. It's just mind-blowing the amount of amazing trucks that come out there, the quality, and it's a show that a little bit later in this year, they're going to open up the pre-registration, and we would highly suggest that you pre-register if you can. The big thing there is it's a very fair fee rate. I think last year was $60. You get 2 armbands, you get a vehicle in, and I think like the first so many get that extra prize pack. In 2020, I pre-registered and got the real nice Phil-built keychain and some other items. So you can't go wrong. Lone Star Throwdown, and that's where we saw El Diablo. But that is the July 2021 issue. Now, Mike and I have talked about how StreetTrucksMag.com, they've done a fantastic job of keeping it up to date and just doing so many great things and just bringing more content to you. Including features, shop tours, all kinds of things. But one of those things is they've been doing the reveals, as they call cover reveal, for the upcoming issues of the magazine. August 2021 is no stranger, and we talked a little bit about it on the last episode to this. This truck, obviously we had Heath Moore on before to talk about his amazing work that he does with the interiors. But I'll tell you, when you see this cover, you're also going to see at the bottom, Relaxin in the Park, cruising past COVID. That has the prime spot on the cover bottom, so I think that's pretty awesome. You've got that amazing C10 that was built up in that area. But one thing I love about this truck that's on the cover is it's got the roll down back window. If you've listened to the podcast or you know me, that's one of my favorite mods in any truck, whether it's the stock Toyota Tundra, the CR Lawrence, power light window, or just a mod that we've seen even from like Anthony's Isuzu that graced the cover of street trucks back in the day. You know, there's a few out there that have braved and done that awesome mod, and you get a chance to see that with a cool kind of rear three-quarter shot, really kind of side shot rather, but a very awesome cover. And to me, this cover would have went perfect with October, being that it kind of has that spin of October and the pumpkins. But Punk In, this one's going to look dope as well for August 2021. So streettrucksmag.com, check it out. And I highly suggest you can send one of these little cards in, and you talk about a national publication, subscribe to it. I'm looking at one here. It's 1 year for $21.95. 2 years, which is 24 issues, $37.95. You really can't go wrong. When you send that card in, you don't even have to pay until they send you the little bill, or you can go on streettrucksmag.com, scroll to the bottom, and then click on subscribe. So those are really the only scene updates I wanted to provide this time around, and it's presented to you by Garage Gear Clothing. We've told you many times, if you go to garagegearclothing.com and you place an order, let them know that OLP sent you, but you're going to get free shipping on all USA orders, and they have items as low as a few dollars, whether you want stickers, the youth tanks. They got plenty of stuff for the garage girls out there, if you will, and so much more, but you got to go to garagegearclothing.com. They're also on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and YouTube's key because Lonnie does a great job with the content. He's expanded out, and he was even posting stuff kind of real time as he could on his way to scraping the coast. So big ups to Lonnie, big ups to Radar. Love what you guys are doing. And, of course, Crystal. Crystal's over there pulling the puppet strings for garagegearclothing.com, so keep doing what you guys do. All right, key show updates. So last week, we focused a lot of attention on Relaxin in the Northwest, the Awakening. Let's all fly up there and have a damn good time. Ron will talk a little bit about it on this episode in terms of your options to camp and or find a hotel, motel, Holiday Inn somewhere in town. Now, Slamfest, they continue to put the throttle down, and they talk about saving $20. Now, when Graham came on last year, he talked about that $20, basically, if you're going to end up buying a show shirt, many of you are, it's the 30th anniversary, dude, that $20 basically gets you the free show shirt, right? So you're going to, give or take, you're going to save $18, $20, and then boom, get a free shirt. But you got to go to minimadness.com. When you go to the bottom, you're going to see a link that takes you to the kind of the main page you need to be on, and then at the top, you can click and you can pre-register right there. Now, I've talked to a couple folks that want to come out and vend. Okay, you can reach out to Jonathan Hawkins. I think also the email address, I would think, on their website would get you to the right spot. Jonathan came on recently, and he talked about reaching out to him or the email address he gave out. But, rest assured, I'm sure if you send him a Facebook message, if you've got an inquiry or you post in the Slamfest event page or whatnot, you're going to get the information that you need, whether you want to be a vendor or you're looking to come out. Maybe you're going to travel and gallivant on down to Tampa from a different state. I highly suggest it. People always ask me, hey, is this a good show? Absolutely. It's been around 30 years, and they got a good club that's behind it. And for the 30th, listen, if you've ever wanted to come, plan it. Usually the weather's real nice. It has been pretty warm in Florida, so it's probably going to kind of be like a summer day. Sometimes we'll get lucky and we'll dip down a little bit at night, but rest assured it's going to be a damn good time. Now, in addition to that, you can go out on our website, ourlifestylepodcast.com. On the left side, click on Official OLP Show Calendar. And then once you're on that page, you have to click where it says click here. Tap that on your phone, and it's going to pop up and ask if you want to subscribe to the calendar. Does not matter if you're on an iPhone or Android. It's going to allow you to subscribe right into your native calendar on your phone. So if you've got an iPhone, you can actually toggle. I've got like 8, 10 different calendars from holidays to birthdays to show days. And you could toggle those on or off. So like if you're looking to plan something, you would go, hey, I want to see the shows. You toggle that on. And I've spent some additional time recently going through and trying to put as many shows as I can on the calendar. Now, if you're a show promoter and you're looking to add your show, just email us, ourlifestylepodcast@gmail.com. Now, in the past, we've kind of done it with our key partners, but what we're trying to do is expand out and give people as much information as they can handle. So, you got Southern Tradition, which is basically this weekend in Canton, Georgia. Next weekend is Camp and Drag. So, many of you know about Camp and Drag. I went in 2012. It's a must-attend event. We linked up with the homies, and we've got some things that we've contributed towards Camp and Drag. And we appreciate all their support. Now, 2 weeks from there, Relaxin in the Northwest, The Awakening. Ron will talk about that. But also Texas Heat Waves going down that weekend too. And that's technically, I think this year, I've got it down as Taylor, Texas. And a lot of this information I pulled directly from Facebook. And I'm looking right at the calendar right now. Because I've subscribed to it, it carries over to the Mac as well. I'm on my MacBook right now, and boom, I'm looking at the calendar. It's that easy when you subscribe. Now, additionally, I'll typically put in here the different Instagram and or Facebook links. So I've got the link over to Heatwave Tour. The following week after that is Slamboree. And, of course, that is in Shawnee, Oklahoma at the Grand Casino Hotel and Resort. That technically is the 6th and 7th of August. That's the same weekend as Down for Dennis. So Down for Dennis is 8-7 in Princeton, West Virginia. And we'll have Daryl and or Nikki Poe on in the next few weeks to talk a little bit about it. It's a charity event. It's for a great cause. Josh Ellis went out there last year. I know Adam Johnson, many others were out there. And we'll be looking forward to bringing coverage exclusively to you guys from OLP. Now, one of our favorite shows is The Spark Show. So the 13th, 14th, and 15th. This is also on the calendar. That's, of course, Sevierville, Tennessee. Hey, open Google Maps and say Sevierville, Tennessee. Click it. See how far the drive is. Listen, I drive 10, 12 hours to that one. I've even went solo before, and it's totally worth it. The Spark Show on Instagram. And then, of course, they have a Facebook event page. Attitude Check 9. So Mike and I talked about it last week. It's basically I think it's the 19th through the 22nd. And that's Attitude Check 9. Of course, that is in Woodford, Virginia. And the cool thing about this one is it's a little bit different. So maybe you haven't been to a show in Virginia. Joey at Get Decked, he is behind this one. Attitude Check 9. Again, that is on the calendar. And then just to round it out for now, Small Town Throwdown in Florida. That event is Labor Day weekend. So I don't want to get too far ahead because, dude, I don't want to be like thinking it's the end of summer already. But Small Town Throwdown is going down in St. Cloud. Of course, Matt Middleton and his awesome wife, they've been out gallivanting all over the country, and they've done a damn good job. So they're going to continue to promote that. And just to be clear, it is a vertically challenged event, so I don't want them to get all the credit. They know it's a huge team effort. So to all the guys and ladies in VC repping vertically challenged, big ups and respect to all you guys and ladies. So the key show updates brought to you by the West Coast Influence. Radar went and spent a lot of his own money, all of his own money, to produce this very cool documentary-style Blu-ray/DVD related to, yes, the mini truck scene. You can go out to minitruckfilm.com. You can order a copy, add it to your collection, and let Radar know that OLP sent you. All right, as we wind it down, before we're going to roll into some audio, I want to just thank everyone that has continued to rock with us, as I always say. If you have had an opportunity to leave us a rating, we certainly appreciate that. Now, if you're on an iPhone, iPad, Mac, computer, you name it, that's really where the rating system comes in. Please go out there, tap the 5-star. If you're on your iPhone, click or tap the purple pre-installed app, go to Library, select OLP, and scroll all the way down. okay? When you go all the way down, you're going to see that you can tap 5 stars, and then you can also write a review, and you can tap in there, hey, ODB's awesome, making like the mayor's a joke, whatever you want, you know what I mean? Rock with us. And I want to say, Eric Fulber, thank you so much. He left one recently, I really enjoy listening to these. As a longtime mini trucker, Jason and Mike really take it back and bring back the awesome memories. When listening to guests, I sometimes feel that, it just brings me back. So I really appreciate that, Eric. Got a chance to have a great conversation with him up at Mini Nats, and we'll be talking with him soon. There's a lot of history in that area. Those guys are all connected up there. So whether it's Eric or Steven's Crew Cab Nissan, NC Green Card, and Paul's old Ombre, like a lot of those guys are all kind of connected, knew each other, still hang out, still chop it up and drink some brews to this day. So salute to the OGs like Eric and guys that have been doing this a long time. It means a lot to us. We constantly say we're no better than anyone else, but to be able to bring people together and have folks on the West, the East go, yo, man, we love what you're doing. There's a lot of guys like Pin. Pin did it. We're going to be talking to Pin soon. Wanted to kind of nail that down. And Pin's a great guy. I remember reading Street Trucks and seeing, his feature in there, with the pin cushion. So, these guys, no matter what club you're in, or in the ladies as well, what we do is just stuff that we love. So for all of us to come together and, rejoice over this scene that we all love, that's what we're all about. So we certainly appreciate that. In closing, I want to thank Joey at Get Decked. So we've told you time and time again, if you're a show promoter, or let's say you want to just put your significant other's vehicle, okay, on a skate deck, this is your opportunity. You reach out to Joey, Facebook or Instagram, search Get Decked, and send him a DM. Let him know what you're looking for. He can even take a photo, from my understanding, and magically put it on a skate deck to hang on your wall, to skateboard, or do whatever the hell you want with it. Joey's a great guy, and I think we've kind of kicked off a trend in the scene with these boards, and many show promoters have jumped on, whether it's an award or it's just stuff they're selling, like they did at Scraping the Coast. We love to see that. Lastly, we're kind of at the tail end of 4th of July week, so thanks to everyone that has fought for our freedoms. Many of you have been in the armed services in the past. And, Independence Day is, obviously celebrating our independence, and we thank you for that. And that brings up one company that I always think of as Colorado Custom Wheels. On my Lincoln Addict page, I always talk about supporting those companies that manufacture their parts or their wheels or set product in the U.S. Now, I do know in the wheel industry, some stuff comes from overseas. That's just the way it goes. I'm not a wheel expert, but Colorado Custom over in Cali, they take care of their clients by making the wheels there. And arguably, I'll put money on it, best customer service you'll ever get in the scene. ColoradoCustom.com. They're on, of course, Instagram, Facebook. Michael, his wife, and his just awesome family, they do a great job of servicing whatever you need, whether it be a billet rearview mirror, a steering wheel, wheels, one-offs, you name it. Maybe even an award or two more coming on that in the near future. So, I know this was a little bit shorter of an intro. Hopefully you didn't mind me, gallivanting a little bit myself without Miggity Mike the Mayor, who is out literally gallivanting all the way to Destin, and then he's going to be over in GA. So if you get a chance, text or message him and say, hey, man, what gives, bro? Yeah, I mean, you're not even chipping in on the holiday week with ODB. So with that being said, have a great weekend, and we'll hit you guys next week. We're cooking up some good. Rest in peace, Courtney Hallowell. We appreciate all of you guys. ODB. Gotcha. All right, so as I mentioned, we're going to roll in here to the audio with the homie, Justin Wyatt, Negative Camber, repping East Tennessee Showdown. And dude, man, how you doing, my friend?
All is well in East Tennessee. How about Florida, my friend?
Dude, things, I hate to say things, couldn't be any better if it just stopped raining a little bit. But, just a few months ago, we were saying, man, it's not raining enough. So, you got to give a little, take a little.
Oh, absolutely, my friend. As long as it ain't raining on the show weekend, I'm good with rain.
Oh, I'm telling you that ain't that the truth. And when we think of Justin Wyatt, we know you've had John in the past. You've passionate negative camper member, but East Tennessee Showdown just happened a couple weeks ago, right? And we're gonna run this audio just after July 4th, kind of the end of July 4th weekend. And you think about all the liberties that we have and the freedoms, and one of those is going to shows, man. So talk to us a little bit about the excitement that you guys had there at East Tennessee Showdown in Piney Flats, Tennessee.
Well, I mean, it was another great year. We grew again. We're getting a little closer to being at capacity, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Had some changes on the property. They're doing a little expanding and stuff. So kind of cut us back a little bit, and it just made it a little bit more challenging. But I'll be honest with you, man. Having people walk by me and shake their hand and tell me thank you for putting this show on, and thank you for doing the things we do, and trying to unite the scene and do a mini trucker show. Like a mini trucker show was just amazing, dude. And those people, like, they made my weekend. I mean, and they did for all the staff members. I mean, Chris, RJ, Jason, Bobby, everybody was just overwhelmed with, like, the thanks that we got, and it was just very humbling. And we really just can't thank the people enough. And that's why we always say, I mean, the show, East Tennessee Showdown, is the people. It's not a show. It's not us. It's if the people don't come, we can't do it, and we wouldn't be where we are. And we've been blessed to grow every year and have good weather, and have friends to come and hang out with us.
Oh yeah, it was a big gathering. One thing that I always never underestimate is the talent from Graphic Disorder. They do so much for the scene. Their event shirts are on the rise, of course, and one of the things that you and your team do fantastically is you get ahead every year with this artwork. The times continue to push out with Graphic Disorder, but man, it seems like nearly a year ago that you guys dropped the East Tennessee Showdown 2021 artwork, and of course you had the C10, you had the Mazda on there. Craig's family owns that now, originally Ty Zito's, and overall, that right there set the tone for, like, just really an epic one-day show still, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we did the Friday with the backyard boogie, and it kind of turned into a show in itself. It was crazy, like, and honestly, it worked out great for me because I handle the entries. Like, we all pick the entries for the Field of Dreams, but I have to kind of, like, go through them and submit them to the guys, and we all agree or disagree. But I have to park that field. So my Field of Dreams, I think I put 3 vehicles in it on Saturday that weren't already there. Like, the whole field was already set Friday at like 7 o'clock.
Wow.
It was great.
Yeah, amazing. And one of the things that you can do is you can go out on Facebook or Instagram and search East Tennessee Showdown. I like on Instagram East Tennessee Showdown because you can also click over on that one icon to see all of the tagged photos, right? Grounded images out there. NC Green Card, of course, his amazing crew cab mini was there, and so many others. I also like to see that you brought out the Mitsu, right? So you've always got that part, and you've got a big presence of negative camber, one of the biggest, baddest clubs out there. And it seems like you guys all really got down as a club and did the damn thing.
Oh yeah. I mean, the guys, I can't say enough about native camber guys. They come every year. They can't get judged. We do NC. We actually did NC top 5 this year. We went from 3 to 5 because we expected a little bit larger presence from them, and wanted to make sure that they felt included. But they come. They know that they can't. We don't take their money. Some of them make us take it, but because they want to support us. But we don't expect any money from them. We just want them there for their brotherhood and just to be there and support us and have a good time. And, like going back to the Graphic Disorder thing, Brand's one of those people. He doesn't do a lot of shows anymore.
Yep.
But he comes and he pushes us. He they did their open house on Friday this year. like he burnt through. He had his largest open house on Friday. He burnt through like 250 shirts, I think, and it was amazing. And he always has something in the stable, and he's got the Dodge. And he brought it out, and came out, and hung out, and had a great time. And him and Eric and the whole staff over there, they just always equip us with what we need, as far as artwork and T-shirts and stickers. They give us all the tools we need, and to hear him tell us, say that he's proud of us, and he acknowledges that we've grown a presence. That's awesome, because he has a large presence in the scene, and he's worked hard to get where he's at.
Most definitely, and he does. We always tell people, shameless plug, when you go with graphic disorder, you get this timeline. They give you, arguably, like you said, the tools and things like that with this epic artwork that kind of helps, springboard your event, kind of like what the Spark Show recently did. We're looking forward to that one in August, the Spark Show on Instagram and Facebook. But, with them being in your backyard, it makes it probably easy to be able to scoot over there. I know you've helped us in the past with picking up shirts. And, of course, the open house, when I used to go to Laid Out, I went to it, I think, 2 years in a row maybe. And, man, it was a damn good time. But to your point, they've grown by leaps and bounds, and they're doing great things. But, East Tennessee Showdown is a show that, to me, is really becoming a staple in that area. You have a ton of mini truckers that are just a stone's throw, right? Just hours or less away. And, we love what you guys are doing. Folks, you can go out there, look up East TN Showdown, that hashtag, or as I mentioned, look on Instagram and you can see some of the photos that they've been tagged in. But, what would you say was your best memory from the weekend?
My best memory from the weekend. Like I say, it's probably, I'd say there's a couple, there's a few that's a little bit more personal, but show wise, I would probably say having a little girl, her dad, they got this truck and she's been helping with it, and she got our kids pick. So our kids ride basically, right? So it's a full on S10, and she's like, hey, her parents walked up after awards and was like, can you take a picture with her? That's her truck, and she's really excited. She had her, award and everything. So to see, them and her just get so excited to be able to take a picture with me, because I helped put on a show. I was like,
yeah,
okay, sure, I'm just a guy that puts on a show, but sure, I'll take a picture with you. But she was ecstatic to get the chance to do that. They posted on social media, and now I can save that. I saved it on my phone, put it in my iCloud or whatever, and I can save that memory forever, because I know that we're trying to do exactly what our mission was, and that's to bring people together and have a good time.
Oh yeah, man. Now, I was also, speaking about a good time, I always enjoy seeing your truck. I'm going to tell the story more in the future of how really, I've hinted at it, the Mitsu got me in. Local kid Chris Lopez had one, and I just love those trucks. And of course, I got a chance to see yours. If you remember, I think it was Laid Out. Might have been when you
when
you debuted it. I remember, man, I was taking all these photos, and I just was like, I was salivating, right? But whenever I see
I was starstruck because you were like, "Oh, I'm Jason."
No.
I love your truck, dude. And you were like, "Oh man, yours looks great." And I'm like, "Yours," and you kept going back to mine.
Dude, that interior, I was just like, dude, I had goosebumps. I'm like, man, it's got the red guts, but just tailored so well. But you recently had made some changes on it. Maybe just give us a couple updates on some of the things you've done over the course of time, right? Did the wheels change?
Yeah, we put. I got rid of the intros and went with. I've always loved mine are 17s, but I've always loved the Deuce Ninja Voids, and being that I'm just a poor old mini trucker, I knew I'd never be able to afford a new set. I priced them. Actually, looked at a couple different companies on those, and me and my wife talked about it. We had planned, to try to get a set for the truck, and these, actually, a friend of mine had them, and I tried about 6 years ago to buy them from him, and he was like, no, I don't want to part with them. He knew what he had, and he put them on a CRV and drove it every day in Nashville, year round. So he posted them up, and I never was like never on social media at work, and I just had a minute, and I seen it. It was posted like 4 minutes ago, and he's like, "Wheels for sale," blah, blah. I messaged him. I was like, "I will come get them this weekend." And he's like, "All right, cool, man." He took the post down. Nobody ever knew about it. Went down there, picked them up. They had a few spots on them, but overall they were in good shape. And I sent them out to a friend of mine, and he has a guy that his family was in the business of polishing. Sent them to him, let them do their polish work on them. Sent them back, and they look amazing. And I wanted an 18, but I mean 17s, and they're stamped 1997, and they don't have the plastic center caps like the remakes. They're original, so I'm happy as can be. And I think the truck looks amazing on them, and I've got a lot of compliments. I've had a few people, say that they like the intros better, but at the end of the day, it's mine. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think it looks great, man. I mean, it really fits the, dare I say, the theme of the truck. I love the black, I love the red, but one great thing about us having done, this mini truck stuff for so long is, like trends come and go. But
right.
I love just seeing the old school and the real deal mini stuff, like really just coming back full force, right? You and I have had great conversations on it, but to me, that's what I love now. Like it's not that it wasn't acceptable, but the wheel craze got a little bit out of hand, which I do think, mini truckers, we don't get enough credit. We could go down a whole bunny trail on this, but the mini truckers, as I've said before, mashed really with the sport truck movement. And, we push the wheel sizes bigger. We push, the R customs in some of these shops, body dropping the full sizes, right, and this type of thing. But
right.
With all that being said, when you get to our age, man, the BMX bikes, we start loving more. And then, the smaller wheels and some of those things that, just were a part of us getting in that great era that we came up through. So, to me, for you to be able to make the decision and go, yo, this is what I'm going to run. I mean, dude, I think it looks great.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. I mean, my biggest thing now is I had a 19 on the truck at one time, and then I went back to an 18. I did the work to get the 19, and that's as much as I could do with my notch and stuff. And I'll be honest with you, man, it's really nice. I can skate the truck super low now. I don't have to worry about anything. I don't have to, put a bunch of pressure in it to turn it, like I did with the 19 and even with the 18. I can just, ride it where it's at, and I got room to drive it. And unless I'm making a real sharp turn, I can bump it up a little bit. But it's just the wheel craze, like to what you were saying, just got to the point. I think that certain trucks look great on a certain size wheel, like, a 20 or even a 22, S10s or one of those. And I love the way a Nissan looks, but I think that some of the trucks, people were just kind of pushing the bounds, and I'm not hating it at all.
Yeah,
man. Like,
sure.
Do what you want to do, but it just wasn't my style, and it wasn't, I guess I couldn't see, the benefit and, losing your heat and losing your air and all this just to prove a point when you could put a wheel on it that makes your truck still functional. Because at the end of the day, I'm a firm believer that, you can trailer your truck and keep it nice and have a nice truck. But if the truck won't run and drive and you can't drive it, down the street to a cruise in, I just don't feel like it's really doing any good. Like, what's the purpose?
Yeah. And there's always that, we should do an episode in the future, but, you got the bought versus built, you got the trailer versus driven, you got the show truck versus, just badass truck, right? All these different things. But, I think you nailed a lot of key points. And for me, I really do enjoy being able to go to a show or even look back at the old magazines and you go, oh man, like this truck was static dropped with a 15 and it looked fantastic, right? But a lot of that stuff is a little bit more acceptable now than it maybe was like 20 years ago. It would have been like, oh, that's nothing. But you roll a truck out that's 25 years old. Like, for instance, at Slamfest 96, I saw that truck too, Red Hot. And that Red Hot truck recently, it came up for sale, was up in Canada, and someone bought it, and I guess they got it fully running. And, like, you look at that truck, I mean, it literally looks like it was a brand new truck, So,
right.
And you could bring that out to, like, East Tennessee Showdown, and people would be like, oh, snap. So, that's what I love. We're at a period now where it's like, dude, you've got so many options: static, bag, small wheel, big wheel, and we all just get along. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, the static stuff, the bag stuff. In the late '90s when I really got into this, you were kind of. So I was coming on the backside, I guess you would say, of like body kits and ground effects and that stuff. I was on the backside of that, and because we were in the mid '90s there. The West Coast was doing something completely different than the East Coast. If you, in retrospect, because a lot of the stuff that you would see at mini nats and the mid to late '90s was still kind of what West Coast would consider early '90s, right? Because the trends flow from coast to coast, and so now like like I say, I was getting into the point where you didn't have bags, you weren't cool, you weren't this, you had to have this stuff, and now it's like we're all grown. Most of the people in the scene are OGs, and they've been here for a minute. They understand it all, they respect it all,
Yes.
and we all just kind of get along a lot better than like 20 years ago. You'd be like, oh my god, that truck looks horrible. Like, we need to bag it. It's like now it's like leave it alone, right? Leave it alone.
Yeah, and I even having coming back from going to a show with Vic when we were at Scrapin', we were coming back, we had good conversation, and I was explaining to him, like, there was a period where, like, Severed, and I'm sure a lot of mini truck clubs, like, wire wheels just weren't accepted, right? But you could probably think, I mean, a better analogy would be imagine back in the day if you were primered. It was like, okay, more than likely you couldn't get in the club, right? Depending on what club it was, right? No disrespect to other clubs that, that's accepted. It's just the way it was in some of the bigger clubs. But hear me out on this. Think about now with patina and fauxtina and stuff. I mean, could you imagine 20 years ago having
never happened?
Yeah, having a bad Cadillac that dude has the perfect something like Frank has, that goes to your shows every year. Eisenhower, right?
Eisenhower.
Yeah, like he has that Cadillac, dude. That thing is perfect. But, that maybe wasn't accepted 20, 25 years ago because it was like, oh, when are you going to paint this thing, But what we've learned through time is that, wire wheels are cool. It doesn't matter what vehicle. Maybe 15s, reverse offset, all of that stuff kind of makes up the DNA, right, of what we do.
Right.
So
yeah, because, I mean, that's exactly kind of what I was pointing with my statement about mini nats is ground effects, wire wheels, it didn't. A mini truck wasn't defined then like it really got like fine tuned in the 2000s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Then it could be, a mini truck would have been, anything from a bagged and body drop Toyota on, 16s to the same Toyota with a body kit, LED or neons at that time, and wire wheels, right? They were all mini trucks, and then.
Yes.
The early 2000s, that staple kind of changed over, and it was, this is a mini truck, this is a lowrider, right? But we were doing all that. So how do you call it a lowrider whenever, mini trucking was featuring it, and we were all like, those guys were mini truckers. They weren't lowrider guys. They were just mini trucking guys that got a little inspiration from a different magazine.
Yes, and the ironic thing too, right? You kind of hit on it with the N word, the neon word, right? When you think about, I mean, I've said this before, but I mean, we're in this good conversation that, like, for a long time, like, Florida was like, the neons, right? It was like Florida was known for that. And,
right.
But now, like, can you believe it? Like, you go to somewhere like, East Tennessee Showdown or, Southeast Mini Truck and Nats, right? Or LST. And, like, if you're in this area where it's nighttime, right? Some shows have more of the nighttime festivities. Others have the little cruise, like over at Relaxin in the Park St. Louis. But, dude, like, who would have thought, like, 15 years ago that there would be, like, underglow lights are coming back and, the LEDs and this stuff. And then some people, like, I see some arguments online. They're like, why would I pay? I forget if it's underglow is back in full force. And there was someone that'll comment and be like, why would I pay all that money? Like, I can go get LEDs. And they're like, hey, there's no shine like the underglow. You know what I mean? So all of this stuff, like some of the stuff that even probably you and I were like, we'd go to ShowFest back in the day and you're like, neons, like, that's not the cool thing, right?
Right.
But now, dude, I mean, who doesn't want neons, whether it's bodied or not? It just looks good.
Dude, I put some red. I ain't gonna lie. Like, so I bought me and
There you
Jason
go.
actually got online and ordered these cheap, super cheap. I think you got 2 sets for $50, and they were cheap.
Uh-huh.
They like no brackets, no nothing. We just kind of put them on for mini nets last year, so for
Uh-huh.
October, right?
Yep.
And we just put them on, kind of rigged them up. And the funny thing is, so like they were so cheap, dude. They didn't come with any American like directions, no nothing.
Oh,
They didn't
wow.
unplug. It was all one wire. It was all wired together. You had to figure out how to make this work. We actually had to cut and splice ours to make them work. But so we threw these things on here just because they look great under the trucks at night. Cruising the strip in Maggie Valley. And the funny thing is, I'm sitting there and mine kept turning on and off. So I don't know how many other people had these cheap Nakayamas or whatever. But the thing is like my frequency would work on like everything. So Jason's, I would like change my color to red. He'd be in front of me and he'd go to red. Right? So,
dude, that is epic.
It was so cheap, man. And it's like an app on your phone. And mine kept turning on and off. My battery ended up dying. I guess somebody left their neons on. I don't know. But it kept turning on and off. But I just get a kick out of it because, like I say, it's right back to your point, man. Like 10, 15 years ago, you wouldn't have caught me dead with them,
Yeah, and it's just, you get to these certain ages where, things bring you back. And we always, I think about this, I've joked about it a little bit. It's like, what are kids going to do right now that, in 15 years, are they going to be like, oh man, I really wanted a 2019 Prius, and we could joke about this kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, it's like for a lot of us, it's the things that we remember or the things that bring us back, I think, mentally to that period of our life. And for me, that's why I think like I'm fortunate. I got a little bit ahead of the craze with the BMX bike stuff because I just felt like I always wanted to get back into it with the rad stuff because I was a big fan of it. But I kind of feel like I barely beat that curve, and then it just has gotten crazy. But things go in spurts and stuff. But I'm just happy to be involved in the scene, and at the same time be able to go to shows, like an East Tennessee Showdown and just see, all the cool stuff out there. But it's show promoters, let me be clear, it's show promoters like you and your partners as well that are putting on these events that are allowing us to go out. So, again, I extend a thanks from Mike and I to you for that, man.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. We just, it started with the same mission statement. I told you whenever I first talked, it's just cool to see all, the things that you love and your friends and your family and, club members all hanging out in your town, right? So that's the goal of every show promoter. That's how it starts.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of what anybody tells you, what their goal is, when it starts, it's like, man, it'd be so awesome to see, all these trucks in my town, at our hotels, at our restaurant. Luckily, we've been blessed to obtain that goal, and like you were saying earlier, we're also blessed to be in a part of the region that we've got tons of trucks within hours and tons of nice stuff and great people. So that helps out a ton.
Oh yeah, it definitely does, man. But it's always good syncing up with you. East Tennessee Showdown again on Instagram, Facebook. Go out there. We're going to be sharing some photos. Even though it's been about a week or two since the show, we'll be sharing some as well to kind of highlight. I know our homie Matt Nupp was out there, and he sent us a couple good photos, and we want to share those and kind of highlight what you guys are doing. But Justin, it's always real. I appreciate the great conversation, man. You had me reminiscing, man. My ears were perking up, and man, I'd like to have you back on and maybe talk more trucks because we're from that era, brother.
Oh, absolutely, man. You're always welcome to give me a call. You and Mike are welcome on this cell phone, on this line. Give me a call. We'll chit chat and talk about anything. I'm just blessed that you give me the opportunity to come on and chat with you a little bit and to have your friendship.
Hey, not a problem, brother. And take care of the fam, and we'll stay in touch. And again, to everyone, as we said throughout kind of this episode, it's the kind of tail end of the 4th of July Independence Week. So, count your blessings out there and enjoy the weekend. I appreciate it.